guys, welcome in. I wanted to talk today about crossing over. The big question, right? Life on the other side. What is that like? What does that look like? The great debate. Is there life after death? This is just, it's interesting to me how I never, your mom's your mom, and either you can have all sorts of dynamics in the relationship. Mine was not great, wasn't horrible, wasn't great. It's not like I was really close to my mother, but as it gets closer and closer for her, she's been, a little more communicative with me and other family members, which is normal, totally normal. But she called me last night. She doesn't usually call me. And ironically, nothing's ironic, nothing to me is ironic, but you guys, I literally just put, I set my, when I go in my car, I set my phone on Pandora in offline mode and just let the energy flow through my phone. And so I feel like my phone speaks to me in that way, for whatever is going on in my life. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's pretty accurate. The songs will come through and it resonates. But yesterday, I was almost home, and that song, have you guys seen Encanto? Where, if you haven't seen it, there's this uncle that's essentially a psychic, a medium, and he's cast out of the family, and there's this song, "We don't talk about Bruno, no, no," because everybody doesn't talk about him because he's the family weirdo, right? So that song really resonates with me because my family, it's I'm Bruno, right? I'm the Bruno of the family. Just, I have tried to talk to them about some of the stuff that I experienced, but they don't get it really. They don't understand. They're just whatever, Kelsey, you're fucking weird. But I can't deny the fact that, my mother is close to death, and she randomly called me last night, and I was watching this show because I'm just so fascinated by this, because I never thought that I would experience past loved ones come to me. I tried to do it as a kid. I remember that. I would go have seances, and I would try and be the one that connected to the dead. But I never thought it being 35, I would be the one being reached out to. And it's just wild how it's kind of just come a little bit full circle. Last night I was watching this show that I love. I think it's called Crossed Over, and it's all about past lives and mediumship and all the things. And because I'm really interested in mediumship, I know I can do it. It gives me goosebumps. I know I can, and I've been reached out by people to do it for them, and I haven't yet because it kind of freaks me out. There's a complete difference, I feel, between me being reached out to by the dead, by past ones, by spirit, than me being the one doing the reaching out, if that makes sense. Them coming to me is a complete comfortable space for me, especially because it's past loved ones of my family, and in some instances of people I love, their family members. So it's a very comfortable space for me. However, I don't feel learned enough to do the reaching out and trying to bring that energy in. It's a little intimidating, to be honest. I know that I could, but yeah, I'm just not comfortable with it yet. Anyway, and plus, I don't have a space to do it, which is another thing. I'm not going to do that in my home. I'm just not going to do it. I already have had some earth, like I had that earthbound here, and I had to do a clearing. Like I'm just not going to do it in my personal space. And so, maybe a few years down the line, and I get a little more learned, and I might take a course on it, and just being able to, like, you just have to be able to like separate yourself from the energies, and it's just a whole different beast of its own, right? But maybe if I am able to get like that spiritual office space that I like put on my vision board, where I can have that space where I could do something like that and it not be my personal home space with my children, something I would dive more into, because like it is amazing and it is so healing, I know, for people to be able to connect with their past loved ones. But anyway, I found it so interesting how I was watching my show and my mother called me, and I found it so, it's just kind of offsetting because she doesn't usually call me. She has more, being, close to death, but she called me, and I was able to have such a healing conversation with her and be able to, like, I feel like I don't, like, my family kind of knows what I'm up to, kind of, but like nobody knows the full extent of what I experience, what I go through. And to be honest, like a lot of people that are close to me don't, because I don't want to like freak them out. Like it can be scary and kind of intimidating to people, and a lot of people are, everybody has a critical mind, everybody's a skeptic, which is fine, like that's normal. But I can't not deny what happens to me. I can't make this shit up. I'm out of, like, it's out of my control. All I do is meditate, and then like all this crazy shit happens to me. All I'm doing is sitting in my office, and then like I'm being activated, and then like I know that there's a spirit there. Like there's like as a like on this 3D world, you can raise your energetic body vibration, and if you raise it to a high enough level, then the loved ones that have already ascended, they are even out, they're at the highest frequency absolutely available, being crossed over and into the light. And so if you can imagine, they have to, like, to be able to communicate with us or you, they have to lower their frequency, and you have to raise yours up as high as possible, and they have to like really make the effort to lower it so you can meet and like have that experience, if that makes sense. But I wanted to talk about crossing over because I had a conversation with my mom, and I feel like I gave her a lot of ease and comfort, and she didn't know about a lot of the stuff that I've experienced. And so I just kind of shined a little bit of a light, told her what I had, like her mother died before I even knew her, when I was about 3, and that is the first person that I remember like trying to do a seance for and like connect with. And I remember as a kid like always just being so curious and like wanting to connect with her, because I could see my mother was in a lot of like emotional pain, growing, like, as my mom growing up, she was in a lot of emotional pain, a lot of emotional turmoil, just because um, her mother took her own life, basically. So, I think it caused my mother a lot of confusion, a lot of pain, and, you know, so I was always interested as a kid because I saw this, I witnessed this. I think it made me want to try and connect with her, honestly, looking back. But I was able to have a great conversation with her, and, I was pretty open and honest with the fact that it's not, you're going to be fine, Mom. You're going to be fine. It's going to be amazing. Like, even I'm like, are you looking forward to seeing your mom? Like, we had just such a crazy conversation, and it was very healing. And I feel like it was able to give her a lot of peace. And, I told her, when you're ready, after you do cross over, when you're ready, I am open, and I'm here for you. Like, if you want to talk, if I'm totally open to it. And, um, the one thing I want to talk about is, the life review, because once your loved one passes, they enter the kind of the space before the light, before the oneness, before crossing into the light. They have a space where they have their, like, life review, and it's just everything. You're essentially just watching a movie of yourself reincarnated in that lifetime, all you've experienced, all the good, the bad, the ugly, and it's a complete non-judgment zone. There's no judgment. And you're in a total state of acceptance, and you're just, like, seeing, were you able to fulfill your life's purpose? Did you learn the lessons that you were reincarnated to learn? What were you proud of? What weren't you proud of? All the things. And the souls and the spirits that are able to connect with us here have already gone through the life review and have ascended to the light, which is able, and is enablement for them to be able to come into touch with us. But I feel like, a lot of people, their past loved ones kind of sit in that life review for a minute, and which is completely fine. And, timing, there is no time, there is no space in that dimension. So who knows how long it feels like to them, right? Like, they might be in the life review space and it feels like to them for, like, a few minutes, but for us, it could be like years before we feel like they are able to, like, reach out to us in that space of light, if that makes sense. And some people, once their soul crosses, they need more time in that life review than others. Some people go through it really quick. Some people just, really kind of sit in that space, I feel. But once they do cross over into the oneness and into the light, it's like they're essentially, like, becoming their soul again. And I wrote some things down. Like, let me see. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So, once they are into that light area, it's like that's when you will start noticing, the signs that they are around. Like, smell you smell the smells that remind you of them, like the little things that reminded you of them, of that particular loved one. Once they are in that light space, that's when you will start to experience all those little things. And it's like when they get there, when they're in that light space, it's like they are completely released and completely healed of anything that ailed them. They're just, like, in a space of love, like complete divine love. There's no regret. There's no resentment. They don't give a fuck about where the money went, where the property is. Like there's no anger, there's no hate. They're just in complete, like in their divine soul, in their divine self, and they're just at complete peace, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And some of them, like, and I feel like, once they get to that light space, they're busy. They don't all ascend and then just like their mission is to reconnect with their loved ones still alive here on earth. Like some of them, yes, absolutely. Some of them, a lot of them will, assist us, steer us in the right direction, try and help us make the right decisions, and show up in our lives in that way, in their soul form, spirit form, through signs, through synchronicities, through like those type of things. Like that you're being reached out to, and so they are coming into our lives, from the light to help us, to guide us, and some of them are they are up there doing like humanitarian work and doing good for the planet. And some of them, I feel like they don't try and reach out to us. They're just like enjoying being at peace, and they don't feel like there's any need to. And they are just kind of enjoying the space. So I feel like, and it probably changes too. Sometimes they're just enjoying the space. Sometimes they're doing this. Sometimes it's like and some of them are planning their reincarnation. What that looks like for them, and what that's going to be like. So they got options, and some of them reincarnate and come back down. Some of them don't. But it's like once they get into that complete state of love, it's like that's when they're able to like come down and like make themselves known, essentially. If you yourself can like raise your vibration, your frequency, and can meet them in that space and be able to have that conversation. I'm blessed and fortunate, and it didn't happen for me right away. It's just like getting further and further into my meditation practice. That's when my past loved ones started coming into my meditation and making themselves known and speaking to me. And then even past that, it's, just being open and raising my vibration higher and higher. It's when they have come to me out of meditation, so to speak. So it's just very comforting, I guess, to just like have that knowing that, light, your soul goes on. And it's like, it can get confusing too, because once they do get into that light space, they do enter their soul. And it's like, well, why do they show up? If they're a soul, and if they're in the wholeness, and if they're a one or whatever, then why are they come and show up in like their physical form when they were alive? If they're a soul. And they do that so you can have like a recognition, right? So you can recognize them and you can relate to that, and so they are able to help you, able to heal you, and you're not just like freaked out that they're in the soul body. Like they make themselves known to you, that you are able to recognize them, so you can have that experience, have that healing. And so what else I wanted to say? Oh, this is good. Okay, so regardless of how they passed, once they cross over, they are in that complete state of love. Like they are completely liberated of pain, trauma, ailments. They don't carry that with them. They're in a complete peace, high vibration. They are like liberated of they have like they're not in pain anymore. If they were paralyzed, they have their feeling, and it's just like they have the feeling of their legs back. It's like they're whole again. It's like it's like the ultimate light and love, that like the all attainment, right? It's an amazing thing. And so, I guess I bring this up because I did talk to her a little bit about, I felt like she was kind of like a little irritated and kind of taken aback that I wasn't emotional about my Uncle Rex passing, because to me it's not necessarily even a sad thing. I mean, I went back and forth. I'm not gonna lie, I went back and forth with it about my mom and like being sad about it, and then just like coming back to the place of like it's her soul lives on, and when she's ready, I will be able to still communicate with her. It's a little hard, and I feel a little disconnected and kind of like the black sheep because obviously my other family members aren't going to feel this way. Like when she's gone, she's gone. But I hope I can kind of ease some of their pain and just kind of baby steps, right? Baby steps into it. So her mother, I told her, and she was just like, what? And she was just, I told her that her mother, she has come to me in meditation and she hasn't spoken to me yet. My grandmother, my dad's dad, we talk a lot, but I think it's because I was so close to her. But I was able to give her that comfort. It's like, Grandma Joy, which would be her mom, it's like she has made herself known in my meditation, so she, is at peace, and but she hasn't spoken to me, and I don't know if she ever will. Like they won't if they won't. There's no forcing it, you just I just have to be open and willing, and if she's ready or feels like she wants to or needs to, then she will. I just don't try and control it. I just let it happen as it happens. And so I'll be, when my mother does pass and her soul body leaves the physical, I am really trying to kind of prepare myself not to hold any sort of expectation about it. And when it happens, it happens. If she wants to, when she's ready, she will communicate. And I was able to give her a lot of peace. Like, Mom, all the women in my life, all the important women in my life come to me in meditation a lot. And I can't imagine you're not going to be there. So yeah, it's just a little easier for me, I guess. Death is a little easier for me when I am able to be in touch with the ascended souls on the other side. Of course, it's easier for me, right? So I have to try and find empathy and sympathy and look at the other perspectives of my family members. We don't talk about Bruno. No. Oh, man. And I didn't, it's not like a million years I expected, I'd be able to communicate, but here I am. Oh, and this is interesting, I find, too. It's when they do become whole and they reconnect with their soul, if you can imagine, when they reconnect with their soul, it's like your soul is all your life's reincarnations, right? So when you reconnect with your soul on the other side, you get to experience all your soul's reincarnations and have all that knowledge. how amazing is that going to be? And so what I can imagine is it's like you connect with your soul, you experience all your reincarnations, and then it's like, okay, you cool? Or do you want to like make the plan and have that communication with the divine and be like, hey, look, like, I'd really like to try this differently. Like I'm not, or I don't know, you make that soul contract, right? To descend back down and relive that experience or try that lesson again or so that's comforting too to me, I guess, is like, well, if my mom does pass and she never tries to reach out to me on the other side as a soul being, then maybe she made the decision to reincarnate and do some things differently or experience life in a different way or make that soul contract and maybe I'll bump into her. All right, so let's just do the angel oracles today. I wasn't even planning on pulling, but just like talking about, ascending and being of the light and coming into oneness with your soul. Let's just see what the angel messages have to say. I found it interesting how I'm just so interested by it. I guess it makes complete sense to me how there's a particular soul that's come to me, and it's a person I never met, but it is a soul of a loved one, of somebody that I love, but I never met that person, and so the people in my life that come to me from the other side, they come to me and appear in a way that I will recognize it, right? But the soul of the person who has passed, who I never met, she came to me in her, like I would say, like her divine form of love and light, because she passed at an old age. But when she appeared to me, came to me, made herself known to me, she was of like an angelic form, like just released of all that ailed her, of any pain, of any, like she just was like of a pure loving light, and she looked younger, like young, and was in white and was of light. And I mean, I knew who it was. She told me she told me who she was, but it was just interesting how she came to me in that way, because I had never met her. I never even seen her in my life. But yet the people that I knew come to me as how I would recognize them. So I made that connection. It's just very interesting. So she felt like she didn't have to put that mask on. She just came to me as she was, as of her ascended self, as of love and as light. Because why, like I wouldn't know her one way or the other. Like she could have showed up in her older state of when she passed, or it made no difference. So she came of her highest, like ascended self. I feel like her angelic form. So interesting. And you guys, like, total disclosure, I, like, applied at this funeral home. Because I was, like, drawn to it and was, like, told to, and I don't know if I'm gonna get the job or if I'm even gonna get an interview, but I'm just so drawn to it. And I can't, like, deny the fact that I'm, like, went from working at this restaurant, and these attorneys that came into the restaurant asked me if I would ever be interested in being a paralegal, and I was like, sure. And they're, like, wills, estate planning, death. It's like, y'all know that I'm in communication in that way? No, they have no idea. But I just find it so funny. I'm like, sure. So, like, I'm literally dealing with death around the clock almost. Or the dead, or people planning their death, or but I would like love to work in a funeral home. I'm just such at peace with it, and it's just so okay. Let's do one more. I get that funeral home job. I don't know, maybe people would hate me because I wouldn't be, like, all sad. I mean, everybody experiences it differently, but I'm just like, ooh. This is pretty amazing. So you guys, right, like, before I got on here, I saw 1111, which is, like, 11s are huge to me. 1111 is huge to me. I started with 9/11 back in 2010, noticed that, and then I started, after I met my twin flame, I started seeing 11s like fucking crazy. Anyway, right before I got on here, I saw 1111. And, like, this resonates. Because I don't know, I need a miracle with him sometimes. You guys know about I could do a whole thing on twin flames and what the difference is between a twin flame and a soulmate and go on and on. But, God, twin flame journey. What? Like, I feel like you are not, like, you don't choose before you do reincarnate. You cannot, I have to believe this, you cannot make that choice and make that contract up there and decide to do the twin flame thing unless you're, like, a super strong person, because it is a fucking roller coaster ride. It's, like, heartbreaking, and then it's, like, euphoric, and then it's heartbreaking, and then it's euphoric, and then it's just, like, and then, you go months without talking, and then you're just never not in communication. Like, you feel like you're talking to them all the fucking time, but you're actually not talking, and it's just, and then it's just like, well, are we ever going to come into union, or is it just going to keep going? Like, it's the hardest. It's not fun. And it just, like, it's literally catapults you into personal growth. And it's not even about, like, your guys' relationship. It's all about the relationship with yourself. And it's like, shines a light on all the shit you need to work on. And it's so hard. But it's like, you just, like, you feel like they're the other half of you. Like, you feel incomplete when you're in separation. But you're just, like, completing yourself, having that journey, completing yourself at the same time. So the difference between twin flame and soulmate is, like, soulmates are separate souls that have a contract with you and descend and reincarnate and have that sacred contract with you as a separate soul to be in your life for a reason, and it's in soulmates can be lovers, they can be family members, they can be friends, they're just meant to be in your life and have, like, significant purpose, and that can be lovers, family members, whatever. It's just somebody who you just easily connect with, right? Like, you just feel like you vibe on the same level. It's like your best friend, your cousin that you love. It's and it's also people in your life that that have hurt you and caused you pain, and but you've grown from that, and etc. And so those are soulmates as well, but they're more of a karmic soulmate. Karmics are soulmates who they are contracted and descend to heal and teach you lessons past karma, right? Those are karmics. And then you just have soulmates, your soul tribe, who are like you. It's just things flow easily with them. It's a best friend, and it's a family member that you love. It's like, so there's different types of soulmates. There's karmics, there's your soul tribe, and then there's the twin flame, which is fucking awful at times. But the difference between, like, the twin flame is, like, as soulmates are separate souls that have contracted a sacred contract to come down as a separate soul. Your twin flame is a choice, a contracted decision for you guys to reincarnate in this lifetime together, and your soul splits. So it's like a piece of your soul from the oversoul is split with them. And so that's why you have all the mirroring. That's why you have all the signs and synchronicities, because it's a very divinely guided connection. And it's not everybody meets their twin flame. Some people have met their twin flame in a previous lifetime, and they've come into union, and then they've ascended, and they just never reincarnate, because it is like the ultimate, right? Like, why would you want to reincarnate when you meet your soul's other half and you come into union, and then your soul is one, and then, like, you just, I would imagine, live in peace and harmony and fucking rainbows and sunshines up in heaven if you can come into union. But so maybe you come into union in a previous lifetime with your twin flame, and then you've ascended, and then that soul just stays, it doesn't reascend. But I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, the cards are oh god, I need one of these. Expect miracles. And everything is in divine timing. Everything is in divine timing, guys. Release expectations, just trust in the universe. And miracles come into your life. You never know. But really, everything is in divine timing. Love is divine timing. Death is divine timing. Your soul goes when it's meant to go. As the world turns. It's the circle of life. Okay. God, I love The Lion King. All right, guys. Anyway, I hope, I don't know, I wanted to get over here on here and talk about the crossing over. It's true to me. It's really like going through all this. It's been quite, I'm truly blessed, and I find it a miracle. I do find it a miracle that I was able and still continue to be able to be in touch with the other side. And everybody has everybody has it in them to be able to do so. You just have to be able to raise your vibration to that high enough level. And like I always say, the best way to start is a meditation practice, because it causes you that stillness, right? To be able to start tapping into that subconscious level and awaken your third eye and open up your chakras, and raising your aura is essentially raising your vibration. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and many blessings. I'll talk to you soon.